every type of event in the system, such as motion detection, I/O input, audio level detection, global events, manual events, LPR events, such as when a plate, a specific plate is recognized, analytics events, face recognition. Every type of event can trigger actions in Digifort. Here you can configure the actions that the system can take. So it's basically like a script. The system will execute all the selected actions. So you just select the action, double click, and then you can configure the action. So for example, the send email to a group of contacts. The system, you can select the group of contacts, you can type in a message, and you can even include images from cameras. So you select, for example, I want to include images from these 3 cameras in the email, and I can select the number of images per camera that are going to be attached to the email. I can also include a link to the event playback, so when the person receives the email, if they have the media player installed in their desktop, they can just double click on that link. It's going to be a script file that will open the client, and we will start the playback from this event. You can configure to show objects to the operator. This will open a pop-up for the user, for the operator, and it can include and show live images from the selected cameras. You can also include a map, like a synoptic map. You can include an analytics or LPR or a web page, or even an operational map to show exactly where the event happened. You can also configure the system to not only send and show live images, but the snapshot of the moment of some cameras at the moment that the event happened. You can even include a few images, more like it's 1 image per second before the event, including the image from the event itself. You can play an alarm sound on the operator machine. In the new version 7.3, you'll be able to configure this customized sound. You can define on the pop-up. You can add a message to the operator on the pop-up. You can request the operator to write an acknowledgement that they process the event. The system can call presets from the cameras. So for example, I can call these presets from this camera, and at the same time call these presets from another camera. The system can also activate IOs or outputs. So for example, to open a gate and to trigger an alarm at the same time. So you can configure an action to call all these objects at the same time. Also, the system could activate and deactivate other system objects, could send an HTTP request for a third-party system. For integration, the system can also automatically create a bookmark for some cameras. You can type in the title of that bookmark and select the cameras that are going to be bookmarked. Upon an event, the system can also download images from the edge recordings. So let's say you had a break-in on some place, and you have high resolution recordings inside the edge of the camera. So you can program the system to download those high resolution images and store it on the server. And you can also create a special event action that's called timer event. The timer event is an event that's going to happen a few seconds after that first event happened, and you can configure actions and many actions for that timer event as well. You can also cancel the timer when some event happened, which means that you can configure, for example, an alarm if a door is open for too long, for example. So this is a very powerful system of actions for events, and all these actions can be activated simultaneously for any type of event from the system. One detail here is the receivers. So when you configure the receivers, you can configure which operators will actually receive some actions, such as show objects, show snapshots, play alarm sound, instant message, and request the operator acknowledge. These are all actions that are sent to the operator client machine, and you can configure which operators or group of operators will receive these events. So you can actually direct event only to these operators, which gives you very high flexibility when configuring your event and actions system. Global events are events that can be triggered manually by operators and are assigned to the server itself. These events are accessed by the surveillance client here on the screen or via API from the server, so it can be used for third-party system integration inside Digifort. The global events, as any other event, will allow you to configure the actions that the system will execute when the event is triggered. And if you configure the latitude and longitude from the global event here, it will be able to be used in the operational maps and will be able to be displayed in the maps if you have configured the latitude and longitude values for that event. For more information on the actions, please watch the video for event actions configuration and explanation. Manual events are events that are assigned to a specific camera. So in the camera settings, you can create manual events that can be accessed through the camera pop-up menu here. Manual event, that's how the operator can trigger the manual event, or using the events button by selecting the camera and clicking on the events button, and all the manual events from that camera will be displayed here. If I deselect the camera, then all the global events are going to be displayed. The manual events, as any other type of event, can trigger event actions that will be executed by the system. And if you want to know more about event actions, please watch the video on event actions.